Hey, everybody. Welcome to Game Mess Mornings with me, Jeff Grubb, your host from giantbomb.com. Thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to be talking about glowing reviews for an unofficial follow-up to Paper Mario and the Thousand-Year Door and a lot of other headlines. It's going to be a good one because we have... Oh, I have Rachel Kaiser written down here. She couldn't make it today, everybody. We'll get her on. We'll get her on soon. Instead, we have Janet Choa. Jan, how you doing?
I'm sorry, everyone. I know I'm not nearly as a joy to be around as Rachel. I also like the Golden Girls, though.
Okay, we can work with this.
Yeah. Is Betty White still alive?
No, I don't think Betty White is still alive. She was alive for a very long time.
I don't want to jinx anything, but yeah. Thank you at home for being a friend.
Yes, that's what we say around here. It's what we've always said, and it still continues to be true. You're a pal and a confidant, is what I say. All right. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of a late start. And that was actually my fault, not Rachel's. Rachel did just ping me a little bit ago. She just forgot. I didn't remember to remind her. I asked her like last week, and if someone did that to me, I would completely space on it. So yeah, we'll get Rachel back on the show again here real soon, and it was completely my fault. All right, let's explain ourselves. We're Giant Bomb. We're independent video game doofuses out here on our own, but we need your help to continue doing what we're doing. You can make that happen by going to giantbomb.com/join and become a premium member. And if they do that right now, if you sign up new on giantbomb.com/join, there's a special goodie. We have 200 codes for Sectory, a game I've talked about a lot.
Yes.
Jan, like all they got to do is sign up, right?
Yes. If you are a new subscriber to giantbomb.com, the website, not on Twitch, not on anything else, specifically to Giant Bomb, you can get a free code to Sectory. They are running out, folks. We only have so many. So if you're thinking about it, if you've at all been intrigued about even just playing Sectory, this is an easy way to go swoop up that game.
Yeah, I think if you are hearing this today, the day we're doing it, you'll probably be safe. No promises, but we'll let you guys know as we're starting to run out so people don't jump on there and miss out when they were hoping to get one. All right. As far as this show... Oh, yeah. Please,
sorry,
go ahead.
Real quick.
No,
for
please.
Folks that are currently a subscriber, you can tack on like a month or a year if you feel so inclined. You don't have to unsubscribe then resubscribe. I believe if you add on an additional month, you can still get the code.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, so there you go, everybody. All right.
Never mind. Chuck said no. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, listen, we're figuring this out, and it's complicated with the our. It's not like a Patreon thing where we could just attach it to a reward, but we're getting the system nailed down, everybody. We'll figure it all out. As far as this show goes, most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS feed on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Code Vein 2 reviews. Those have started coming out between yesterday and today. It is sitting at a 75 on OpenCritic. It got an 8 out of 10 from Dalton Cooper at Game Rant, who writes, Code Vein 2 is a rock-solid open-world Souls-like experience that will keep genre fans busy for dozens of hours. The man, Michael Hyam at IGN, gave it a 6 out of 10, says, while Code Vein 2 has flashes of greatness, this Souls-like action RPG isn't able to maintain a consistent level of quality and can be sloppy as often as it is compelling. The man knows how to be concise and wrap up his thoughts. Good job, Hyam. 9 out of 10 from Miguel Moran at the 6 Axis. Code Vein 2 is a haunting, thrilling, and unforgettable action adventure. It's so much more than the sum of its parts or the games that have clearly inspired it. It has a personality of its own that shoots beyond that Souls-like genre tag and never compromises on that unique vision. I am probably not going to check this out. I've not played like Lies of P. I would go play that first or something like that. But I wonder if this is like going to win over any new fans or just like the people who like Code Vein 1 will know to show up for this one, and that's fine.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, Grubb. Like the spread of reviews that we have here, it's a little bit like very up, very not quite down on the game. But I don't think this is something that I'm going to check out. I did play a little bit of the original Code Vein, and it didn't particularly grab me then. I don't know if a sequel in that same universe is going to grab me now. And if folks are like itching for another Souls game, you are not short on any options there.
Yeah, I mean, we like people in chat are pointing out, I'm waiting for Neo 3. And it's, that's like the pretty reliably good series. Neo 1 and 2 have been very well received so far. I would expect Neo 3 to kind of continue that. And yeah, if that's your craving, you will have that. And then you're right, there's a huge backlog of games similar to this that might have some better quality or more consistency, as High points out as a problem.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, also, we are not in short supply for anime Souls games either. If
yes,
you are going to Code Vein or Code Vein 2 specifically for that aesthetic.
Yeah, and it just feels like the anime aspect of it here is not even like, oh, that's what's going to win you over. Come for the characters if you like that kind of stuff. It's like, no, that's pretty by the numbers as well. All right, Escape from Ever After reviews are also in. If this is not one you've heard of, I talked about it on the Bombcast yesterday. 84 on OpenCritic. So I was like happy to be like, okay, no, the quality probably is there the whole way through. What I saw in those first couple of opening hours is what the game is. At least that's true according to Mick Abrahamson at But Why, though, who gave it an 8 out of 10 and said, just like its literary inspirations, Escape from Ever After has found ways to not only make them feel lived in, but flesh them out with unique enemies and bosses. Yeah, I guess the setup of the game is it's a Paper Mario, the Thousand Year Door, where you play as a fairy tale character who gets taken, you infiltrate a corporation called the Ever After Incorporated that goes into fairy tales and strip mines them for parts. And you're infiltrating them by getting hired by the company. And you're going to take it down from the inside. And so Ever After Inc. sends you to all these other books, which are the kind of vignettes you would get from the Thousand Year Door, where it's like, this is the wrestling town and this is that. Yeah, it's really well done with that stuff, and it keeps the pace going. You kind of go from one to the next one pretty quickly. 4.5 stars from Bram Noteboom at GameLiner, who says, or maybe it's GameLiner because I think it's Dutch. Since the release of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door in 2004, developers, including Nintendo, have searched for the next big hit. And with Escape from Ever After, Sleepy Castle Studio delivers a charming yet deep RPG that lovingly honors its inspiration while offering strong writing, rich gameplay systems, colorful worlds, a fantastic soundtrack, and only very minor flaws. It also got a 4.5-star review from John Scar at Cloud Dosage. Escape from Ever After feels like a game that knows what it's trying to do and sticks the landing. It takes familiar turn-based RPG ideas and gives them a fun twist with a story that's self-aware without trying too hard to be clever. The combat stays interesting thanks to the timing-based mechanics, and the world has enough personality to keep you invested as you move through it. Yeah, I think this is an early surprise hit this year, Jan. One that I bet is going to pick up quite a bit of steam here as word of mouth begins to spread. Is this one that you're growing more interested in, or what?
Oh, totally, Grubb. I think you brought it up maybe in a meeting last week, and I've been curious ever since. We are going to try and quick look this game, folks, in the near future. It's just a bit of a busy week. But hey, anything that is inspired by Paper Mario or any of the Mario RPGs, I am all aboard for. I love this trend of indie games being inspired by like those types of games.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And it's I think this last review here from John Scar is the one that like that. This is what I feel like. This game, the people making this game knew what they were trying to do, and they stuck the landing. And I think a lot of times indie developers doing an homage game know what they're trying to do, and they don't quite stick the landing. It's like, no, this is just kind of a love letter, and I appreciate that, and I feel the same way. So there's definitely a lot of enjoyment I can get from a game like that. This one's like, okay, but if we stick the landing, it can feel on the level with the Thousand Year Door, which is just not the feeling I get most of the time when I'm playing these spiritual successors. And this one, it feels like it could get there.
Mm-hmm. There was that other game, I don't remember if it was from last year, Grubb, or 2 years ago, similar aesthetic.
Bug Fables? Is that the...
Not Bug Fables. You were jumping into different storybooks. It wasn't an RPG.
Yeah, God. The little prince guy that was going from stories to... Yeah. It
Not
has
Claire Obscure, guys. Plucky Squire. Plucky Squire.
Plucky Squire.
And
yes.
I know that Plucky Squire built up a lot of hype, at least for us, and didn't quite deliver on that. So I hope that Escape from Ever After sticks the landing. And it looks like, based off of these reviews, it may very well.
Yeah, I think that's a good Plucky Squire is not necessarily like it's trying to be a little bit of a Zelda or whatever.
Sure.
But it definitely has that same feeling of you see the game, you get excited, and you're like, oh, if this idea sticks the landing, then I'll be there and I'll be really happy. And it didn't quite do that. I fell off of Plucky Squire pretty fast. I feel the exact opposite way about this. Where
Nice.
It's like, I do not want to put this down once I start playing each evening. All right, so let's keep going. Monster Hunter Wilds gets a PC patch, which Capcom says will fix the recently reported DLC performance bug. This is from Chris Scullion at VGC. Capcom has released a patch for the PC version of Monster Hunter Wilds, which it claims will fix a recently reported bug that was causing performance issues. Earlier this month, Reddit user D. Tilmarand posted a lengthy message on the Monster Hunter Reddit page suggesting that the game performs better on PC when all the DLC is installed. After performing some tests, they theorized that the game is constantly checking for the presence of DLC, and therefore the more DLC a player has installed, the better the game runs. Their findings were passed on to Capcom, and the company has now published a patch which it says will fix this issue, though it does claim the issue didn't quite affect the entire game as initially suggested. So it sounds like this was only happening in like certain areas in the hub, in like the grand hub, the base camp.
Yeah.
But it was happening. It was happening. But this is not a magic bullet that's going to fix all of the performance issues with Monster Hunter Wilds. Mm-hmm. But it is still bizarre that this is something that had been in there, and Capcom had to be publicly shamed into fixing. Hopefully that this just means there's a bunch more fixes on the way to fix the rest of the game.
The part I'm confused about, Grubb, was this part of the initial performance bugs that folks were experiencing when the game launched before the DLC was even available to folks? Or is this just like a new issue that was affecting players as of late?
I would assume that the checks that the game is doing that's causing the problem to see if you own this DLC content was in the game from day one. Even if I bet DLC was available, but I bet the thing was already checking to see if you had the DLC because Capcom knew it was coming. So it was like, let's just build that into the game from the start. So yeah, I bet this was part of a suite of performance issues and bugs and various other issues that people were experiencing from day one.
Yeah.
And like, this is a place you spend a fair amount of time in, especially as you're getting started. So it's often a first impression. So yeah, I think this will help the game a little bit, but it's not going to make the game run more smooth during boss battles out in the field or whatever.
What a peculiar issue, Grubb. What a fun little bug. Not actually fun, but like out of all the things for
just curious.
Yeah. Like, oh, okay, cool. This is what was causing this. I hope that user that found this out, I don't know, got compensated somehow, because this is a major thing.
Yeah, sometimes the companies will have bounties that they put on people who publicly squash bugs or find them out and then report them to the company. I bet Capcom doesn't, not for something like this. And it's a shame, because this just feels like the exact kind of story we want. People find it, they report it. Capcom fixed it in a timely manner once it was public. You kind of wish they would have found it themselves a long time ago. But better this than the alternative of they ignore it and pretend it's not happening.
Right.
Which I feel like is my default expectation for most companies these days. So, okay, we're getting small wins that aren't really wins. They're doing the bare minimum, but I'm taking them as wins because that's just where I'm at vulnerably right now. All right, Ren and Stimpy are getting a 7-game retro collection courtesy of Limited Run. This is from Jim Norman at Nintendo Life. If the news of the Nickelodeon Splat Pack release date earlier this week wasn't enough cartoon nostalgia for you, Limited Run Games has revealed that it has even more in the pipeline for Switch in the shape of the Ren and Stimpy Happy Happy Joy Joy collection. This is a 7-game compilation title collecting together a handful of the Nickelodeon duos SNES and Game Boy adventures. The titles included in this one are the Ren and Stimpy Show Space Cadet Adventures for the Game Boy. I think I did play that one. Vidiots for the Super Nintendo and Game Boy. Buckaroos for the NES and Super Nintendo. Time Warp for the Super Nintendo, and Fire Dogs for the Super Nintendo. Yes, that does mean Quest for the Shaven Yak and Stimpy's Invention are missing, unfortunately. But there's always the potential those get added later. Look, I included this because I'm a millennial and it's the law. Like
Sure.
I would get shot if I didn't include it. But also the Ren and Stimpy games in particular, especially the ones for Game Boy, something about those games, they just showed up in people's lives. You would just come across, like, I don't think anyone bought a Ren and Stimpy game ever. You would just happen to get a Ren and Stimpy game. Now, I would get them as gifts occasionally, but more often than not, it's like a friend had them and I wouldn't even ask for it and it would just end up at my house. They were ubiquitous. And I'm kind of nostalgic for that era of these kinds of games, because these kinds of games don't really get made, and when they do, they get made by Game Mill, which maybe these were made by the Game Mill of their day,
Sure,
or something like that. But I don't know. Do you have any affinity for Ren and Stimpy or things along of this nature?
Grubb, I feel like I was pretty tuned into video games as a child. Bought all the magazines and stuff, but all of these Ren and Stimpy games, all 7 of them that you mentioned, are completely escaping my memory. I don't remember them at all. And I was huge on the Genesis, huge on the Game Boy, and none of these are ringing a bell at all.
Yeah, like you might recognize like some gameplay for some of them. I honestly often would not even like know the name, like, because the cover art would be mostly the characters, and the name of the game would be pretty small usually.
Yeah.
How about the Nickelodeon Splat Pack? I think let's see, that is comments. Yeah, I'm trying to see what's in here. Guts.
There was a Guts video game?
There was a Guts video game, Rocco's Modern Life, Spunky's Dangerous Day, and both versions of Real Monsters.
I vaguely recall an Real Monsters video game.
See, Real Monsters. How about was that a show that you were watching?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was too. Like, I remember that like being a big deal when it got announced, and I was kind of an older kid at this point, but being like, this is pretty entertaining. I think I played this Real Monsters game. That's the thing. You might have rented these.
Sure. Yeah. To answer your other question though, Grubb, I was never a Ren and Stimpy guy. It wasn't even because of parental supervision kicking in. It looked kind of too gross for me as a kid. My brain wasn't ready yet.
Yeah, it had to it has to hit like out of nowhere at a certain age, and that's where I was. Where it's like I was a little bit older and was ready for like the subculture of cartoons to sort of take me away from the very mainstream cartoons I've been watching. Like, I had a lot of Looney Tunes and stuff, were a lot of the cartoons I was still watching. So Ren and Stimpy kind of taking that and turning it on its head, or turning it up to 50, was always like, okay, this feels like I shouldn't be watching it, and therefore I have to watch it. But yeah, I'll get this collection. I'll play these games. Some of them are okay at best. Like, I don't know. I don't think any of them are great games.
Right. Yeah. The thing that it's just reminding me of is I kind of miss that era of licensed games where they're not particularly great. Some of them are very bad, but some of them are kind of okay. I played a lot of Rugrats games and a couple Rocket Power games as well.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope they keep doing this, keep putting these collections together. I would like to play some of the later ones, like cartoons I saw as I was flipping through the TV to like go to MTV, because now I'm too old, and being like, I wish I would have watched some of those because they seem pretty fun, and I didn't need to pretend I was too old for them. All right, let's take a break. We have plenty more headlines to get to after this. If you want to skip out on these, go to giantbomb.com/join, become a premium member. We put out ad-free versions of the video and audio show. You can get them there. In the meantime, though, we will be right back. It's Game Mess Mornings. We are back. Jeff Grubb, Jan Ochoa. We continue on with State of Decay 3's development is apparently coming on really well. That's a quote from Magnus Groth Anderson at Game Reactor, who writes, "It's been 6 years since State of Decay 3 was revealed, and nearly 2 years since we last got a trailer. It's clear that developer Undead Labs is working on the project, but also clear that they're taking their time. Still, Xbox Game Studios head Craig Duncan says that development is progressing according to plan. In an interview with Games Radar, he touched on the project briefly, emphasizing that things are actually going well behind the scenes. He was apparently asked for like specific details about the game, and he said, "I think that the PR in this room will murder me if I give you the answer to that. So here's what I will say. I have done a number of visits to that studio in the last 6 to 8 months. I have sat and played the game with the team a bunch of times. It's coming on really well. We're very excited about the franchise and its potential, so I will certainly see a lot more of it in the coming year. Is that a good answer to your question? And then they all laugh. Yes, so that makes it sound like not coming out this year, and that's in line with what I've heard, where it's like they want to take more time on the game because they really think they have something and they want to get it right. And and I think they have been able to convince the people at Xbox that they are correct about having something there. State of Decay, it is a life management sort of a society management zombie survival game. And the people really like the systems of it. And State of Decay 2 had a lot of fans as well. And State of Decay 3 was in this weird spot, Jan, where the people that were primarily responsible for 1 and 2 left to go start this other company. And then that company crashed and burned because the top leadership were, in my opinion, and has been alleged publicly, scam artists. And now the studio that was left behind, the people that left behind to work on this game, State of Decay 3, we're always feeling like people aren't going to believe in this because they don't think the real people are working on it. We want to prove them wrong, and we think we can. So, okay, this game's kind of set up so they want to make a big splash with it. Any hopes or dreams for State of Decay 3?
I've never been a particular big fan of the series, just not my type of game, but I know that it has attracted a very loyal audience. Before the Xbox Developer Direct from last week, holy smokes, that was last week, I saw a lot of rumblings amongst our audience hoping that secret fourth game would have been an update on State of Decay 3. My only worry, Grubb, is specifically within the Xbox ecosystem, if a game is taking too long in development, how long does it have until the execs just pull the plug outright? And I hope that won't be the case for these devs because at least the State of Decay audience has something tangible to hold on to and point to of like, hey, no. These games are popular. People do really like these games. It isn't like a perfect dark situation where people just have nostalgia for it. Is it a proven franchise that we can bet on versus State of Decay 3 that has 1 and 2 to build off of?
Yep, I think that's maybe one of the reasons it has survived versus Perfect Dark. I think that's probably the biggest part of it, Jan. And then you hope that, like, if you want to begin to get like some hopium going, you say, okay, and maybe also Perfect Dark was obviously not working, and this obviously is working.
Yeah,
we'll see if that turns out to be the case. But I think you're right. They are probably primarily trading on the fact that there are still many people at the studio who have delivered games that have been well received and have found their audience and are now pitching the idea that State of Decay 3 can find that audience and grow it. We'll see. I hope so. Really, I just hope the game is good and interesting. I'm in the mood for this idea of a again, management sim that is disguised as a zombie game. So I'll be checking out State of Decay 3 whenever it comes. Doesn't sound like that's anytime soon though.
Got it.
All right, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is currently the second best-selling single-player title on Xbox. This is from Jonas Mackey at Game Reactor. It took 6 years, or 5 if you count from the Intergrade version on to PlayStation 5, before Final Fantasy VII Remake was released for Switch 2 and Xbox Series S and X, which finally happened last week. After such a long time, one might expect interest in the game to have waned considerably, but that does not seem to be the case. Windows Central editor Jez Corden now points out that Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade ranks 9th among the best-selling games for Xbox, which may not sound very impressive, but of the 8 games ahead of it, all are major sports games and multiplayer titles, with Red Dead Redemption, which was re-released for Xbox Series X last month, as the only exception. There's a bunch of like huge perennial hits in there. The other thing here is I have the next story here, which relates to this. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade Switch 2 physical copies are sold out at nearly all major U.S. retailers. This is from Mohammed Ali Berry. Physical copies of the Switch 2 version of Square Enix's action role-playing game Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade are currently sold out at nearly all retailers in the United States. They might have been replenished since this story was written. This story is like from a day and a half ago. Okay, Final Fantasy VII is one of those games, Jan, that we've been talking about, the remake specifically, as like, it has Final Fantasy lost its way. The game should be selling more than it is. There was a time when Final Fantasy VII was the biggest game you could possibly imagine in the world, and then Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out, and there's a lot of people showing up for it. But like the number was like 5 million people, and you compare that. I would always compare it to like Luigi's Mansion 3, which is like, hey, there's no reason Luigi's Mansion 3 should be bigger than Final Fantasy 7, but it is by an order of magnitude. It's twice the size, and now recently it's been much bigger than that. Like it's reaching 15 million copies sold. So what happened here? And I think it sounds like to me, Jan, that the story here is it just needed to be everywhere, and something about it being locked down to PlayStation wasn't just like holding the audience back. It was making the game feel smaller for some reason, which is odd because usually exclusives feel bigger in some ways. So does it feel like Final Fantasy VII has finally been unleashed?
Yeah, I think so. 100% Grubb, and I feel like it's going to be huge for the series or the remakes to hit the Switch 2 specifically. And it's interesting that exclusivity is more of a hindrance to a specific game now than rather like a boon to like the platform holder now, right? Because we saw the same thing happen with Final Fantasy 16 where it kind of underperformed because it was locked down to the PlayStation. And now we're seeing more and more that once a game like breaks out of that exclusivity window, it's going to do gangbusters. And we're seeing that not just with these Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 7, the remake, but look at some of the highest played games on the PlayStation, which are Xbox published games. I think we've definitely moved past the point now where console exclusivity and tribalism is a major thing. People just want to play the thing now. That being said, I see the jokes in the various chats. I still feel like Square is going to continue to say that somehow this underperformed based off of whatever bonkers metric that they set out.
Yeah, we sold every physical copy, but it's your fault we didn't print enough because we didn't think you guys would buy it, and then you didn't buy enough. And it's but you didn't make enough physical copies. People in chat are also pointing out that there was a Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy booster pack included in the physical edition on Switch. Is that the case, chat? Did I get that right? Yeah, that would probably have some effect. I would imagine. It would certainly get people to like not wait around and be like, oh, I should go get that now before it is sold out.
Sure. Yeah, I also can definitely see the Magic. I feel like it was a very profitable relationship for both camps, for Magic the Gathering and Final Fantasy, where Magic the Gathering saw a huge boost in players because of the Final Fantasy collab, and vice versa. Those people flocking to those Final Fantasy games. I'm interested to see, because I know 7 is the easiest one to go pick up and play, right? Because of the remakes. I'm curious if any Magic the Gathering people, sickos over there, checked out any of the other Final Fantasy games that were also collabed with. Like, anyone check out 6? 6 is pretty sick.
Yeah. I'm like trying to check this out here to see if it is like going for cheap on eBay. Final Fantasy VII Intergrade for Switch, and it seems like it's going for cost. So people are kind of maybe buying it and selling it, taking the booster pack and then selling Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, maybe to a certain degree. I'll say that at the very least, though, that's smart. They're using their like what they have at their disposal to go further. It does feel though like Final Fantasy VII is making the franchise go on an upswing again. Like they will be able to now take this momentum and carry it forward to releasing Rebirth on Xbox and Switch, and then everything getting Final Fantasy Remake or Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. That should just release everywhere at the same time at this point. I feel like Square Enix has fully convinced themselves.
Grubb, I forget if we've talked about this in the past, but with the success that Final Fantasy VII Remake is having on the Switch 2, there's probably a world in maybe not the near future, but the future where we see something like Final Fantasy XIV on the Switch too.
Oh yeah, that feels inevitable.
And you know, I understand that that is one of the goals that we have to hit this year of me playing not through Final Fantasy XIV, but playing Final Fantasy XIV. I don't know why the handheld form factor just appeals to me there of just logging in a bunch of hours just sitting on a Switch 2.
Yeah, sitting outside on the porch playing. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe having some
on
porch beers,
rooftops with my
rooftops.
friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. After a good workout. I was gonna say after a cigarette, but no, after a good workout. It's
Yeah.
2026 now, so
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. After a good run.
After a good run, there we go. Yeah, we'll probably see this everywhere. As far as like you mentioning, like, are these crossovers leading to more people discovering Final Fantasy? It seems like it's not hurting.
Yeah.
And I think they need to like carry it forward with Final Fantasy VII, kind of deliver on that. And if they like make those fans who showed up because they got a little bit more interested or were reminded that they cared about Final Fantasy because of Magic the Gathering, if they pay off and make those people feel like the investment they made in Final Fantasy is worth it, then they will probably like go check out Final Fantasy 14 and go on from there. We'll see.
Just real quick, anecdotally, Jeff, it's been very interesting when the Final Fantasy collab popped out, seeing all these Magic creators know absolutely nothing about Final Fantasy, and then just them learning the lore of everything. It's just very fun to see because I felt like Final Fantasy, at least, was just such a big series that everyone had some tangential knowledge of,
Yeah.
whether or not you were into or out of games.
Yeah, it just feels like common knowledge, and it's fun to see something like, oh yeah, it's not. And for a lot of people, this is how they're learning about it, and they think it's cool too. So, yeah.
It was funny to see several different creators ask, so are Cloud and Sephiroth boyfriends?
It's a heated rivalry. Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
At least in a lot of fanfic for sure. Okay, when is Pokemon Day 2026 expected to happen? This is from Devin McClure at Polygon. Pokemon Day is always a big event within the creature collector fandom. And with 2026 marking the 30th anniversary of the franchise, some big announcements are likely in the works for the celebratory day. Speculation has been swirling surrounding everything from a release date for Pokemon Champions to a reveal of the next game in the mainline Pokemon franchise. But the Pokemon Company International has given fans no official information regarding what to expect. Falling each year on February 27th, Pokemon Day celebrates the original Japanese release of Pokemon Red and Green in 1996. Past years have seen a slew of important Pokemon announcements, from the reveal of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet in 2022 to last year's surprising new competitive game, Pokemon Champions. Though there are already several Pokemon-related things to look forward to, like the March release of life sim game Pokemon Pokopia and the upcoming Pokemon Lego sets. But with the 30th anniversary at hand, there's bound to be more. So the big question, Jan, is, hey, is there going to be a Pokemon Presents on Pokemon Day? We don't know for sure. It's not been officially announced, but they've almost never gone a year without doing a Pokemon Presents on Pokemon Day for the last several years.
Yeah.
And this is the 30th anniversary. So I think it's a pretty safe assumption that if it's not happening on Pokemon Day, it's only because something bigger is in the works. Is that safe to assume, you think?
I think that's safe to assume, but even if something big is happening this year, I could still see them putting together some type of like mini Pokemon Direct before like the big thing happens. You could add a tease at the very end of this Pokemon Direct to continue building up hype. I mean, this is a very substantial year for the series, it being 30. That makes me feel incredibly old and young at the same time somehow. The big thing for me, Grubb, is I'm very curious to see if we will see any updates or a date even for Pokemon Champions. That is something I'm very, very curious about. That is going to be the competitive 2v2. They're probably going to have 1v1 Pokemon VGC competitive combat there. And also that's going to be available for phones. So I'm very curious to see how that's going to get rolled out. I think it may be very popular. It may be a sleeper hit this year. There's also the next season of that Pokemon stop motion show on Netflix.
Pokemon Concierge? Is
Concierge,
that the one?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's always things happening with the cards. I've been out of touch with the cards because actually in my area it has gotten violent, so I've chosen to stay away from them.
Smart. Yeah, get out of there while you still can. Okay, so lots to expect. I think that 30th anniversary, there is the expectation that Gen 10, that's where we're at, for Gen 10 to get announced, revealed. I think that is certainly probably going to happen. I think the rumor is it's going to be Wind and Waves. We see it here. They announced it for later for a release later in the fall. very likely. What do they need to do to sort of establish that they are moving in the right direction with Pokemon for you?
Grubb, it's a very tricky question to answer personally, because I also come to Pokemon at a very different angle than a lot of folks do.
Sure.
Like, I don't care for the breeding or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't necessarily vibed with the last couple mainline games. I liked Legend ZA a bunch, but there were still a couple hiccups there. I think for me personally, what I'd actually like is I would like another Let's Go style of game, because that felt like such a good entryway for a lot of younger players to get into the game, but also a nice nostalgia trip for folks like me. I would love to go to Gen 2 with through like a Let's Go format. It baffles me that they haven't capitalized off of like the success of Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee with another title moving on in the series.
Yeah, it feels like that is something that they will get to at some point. Probably not for Gen 10, right? They'll probably do all new stuff, and then as like a fall, hopefully like next year we get that Let's Go. People are saying it would be called Let's Go Johto, or that's what fans would call it. That's the region for Gen 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, I think that should happen. It probably does happen on the Switch 2 at some point. I think that's the kind of thing that they release around the time that they maybe do have a Switch 2 Lite. Because this game, Gen 10, again, we're speculating if it does come out, gets announced, that's probably still going to be a Switch 1 game, right? They are pretty slow to make a transition to exclusively next-gen hardware, right?
With the Pokemon company is just such an odd company to figure out what their motivations are. I could 100% see them trying to make the next mainline Pokemon game also work on the Switch 1 because of the massive install base, Grubb. So that does leave me a little bit worried about how the performance is going to be. And meanwhile, on the sidelines, we see Game Freak signaling, no, we can make games. We can have voice acting. It's them that won't let us.
They're screaming from the deep down or whatever. Yeah. I expect that they will probably have all these announcements and more at the show. We'll see. I am excited about some Pokemon stuff occasionally, Jan.
Sure.
I think Gen 10, if they can come out and make the sort of overture that they are working on their underlying tech and make it believable, I might show up for it. I'll be curious, because I thought the ZA was a pretty good version of one of those, of like this slight alternative of what Pokemon can be. I still like the idea of the traditional turn-based stuff. Like it's not what's going to turn me off ever of the series. So I want them to kind of keep improving that, making that better. We'll see if they can actually deliver on that with Gen 10. And you're right, it's going to be a tough comparison to Beast of Reincarnation, with that game looking super modern, like it belongs on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and S. This is their character action game that they're working on that they revealed recently, again at the Developer Direct, everyone. And if Pokemon Gen 10 comes out and just looks like a cheap sort of knockoff of Pokemon like the last game kind of did, that's going to be especially disappointing at this point.
Yeah. Personally for me, Grubb, I don't really want a full new generation full of new Pokemon. I'd be fine with like a mishmash of everything we've seen before. Just because there's too many. There's actually too many Pokemon now.
Is there like a set number they always they introduce with each new gen? It's like 100 new ones, like or something like that?
100-ish, yeah.
Okay.
80 to 100.
They should maybe just do 50.
Yeah.
Maybe just do 50 new ones.
Yeah.
And then mix a match.
Let's have like 20 new dudes, you know? I can only have space in my memory banks for that many new friends. Just give me like 3 new evolutions. Also, I see a lot of folks pointing out like, oh, who's going to be the mascot if they do like a Let's Go Johto, because they banked heavily on Pikachu and Eevee for the first game. Just bring them back. It's not like Pikachu and Eevee ever go anywhere.
Yeah, that's a good point. It should just be like Let's Go Pikachu 2. Honestly, I bet that would go a long way. Is Detective Pikachu 2 a thing? Did they announce that? I'm trying to remember if that's real.
I feel like that. Did they remake or re-release the original Detective
On
Pikachu?
Switch, I can't remember. I'm gonna look this up real quick.
Oh God.
Okay. Detective Pikachu 2. No, not the movie. Switch.
The game is real. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Michael Leary.
Oh, is it okay? Detective Pikachu Returns for Nintendo
It was
Switch.
years ago. Oh, okay. Oops.
Did that come out?
Apparently.
Man, okay, that's weird. So maybe okay, maybe they'll talk about are they making a second movie? Is that what I got in my head? All
Dog,
right,
they like it baffles me that they haven't tried to fast track a sequel to Detective Pikachu. That was just a fun movie to experience. Whether or not you like Ryan Reynolds, everything else around it was just very cute.
Yeah,
I need more detective shows, Grubb, and movies.
yeah, for real. I mean, you're right. That's how I felt about that movie. Is it just kind of ended up being really cute because every time a Pokemon was doing something in that city, I was like, okay, this is really neat to see on film.
Ryan Johnson, Knives Out, but with Pokemon. You don't want to make a Muppets one, do a Pokemon one.
Yeah, Pokemon are definitely capable of murder. I know you think Muppets aren't, but Pokemon are. Okay, before we move on, real quick, people were mentioning High Guard's second or third day that we're in. It's down to like 10,000 concurrent players. It does seem like it's going to fizzle out. I mean, it hasn't had its first weekend yet, so we'll see. But you would expect maybe it's not doing what Apex Legends did. Apex Legends that's what they were trying to emulate here with their launch of just kind of announcing it and putting it out. And they kind of broke that by announcing it at the Game Awards, and clearly that seemed to be like some sort of original sin now for this game. But even beyond that, they introduced this game. It is not climbing to 50 million players in like a week or two like Apex Legends did. What do you think that says about? Does that say something more about High Guard or just the way people are approaching games right now?
I see a lot of people dogpiling on High Guard, and I don't think that's at all what we're doing because we just honestly shared our thoughts.
We're just covering a new game. Yeah, we hadn't played it. We tried it out, and we couldn't help the way we felt. Yep.
And it's just doing too much, Grubb. I simply think the game is doing too much, and there isn't enough meat on the bone to continue moving those muscles or whatever, Grubb. Like the fact that it's 3v3. It's a very gigantic map, and like the phases of the game don't quite feel like actual phases that matter. And I feel like momentum can quickly run away in the game, in your favor or against you. What this says about High Guard, I think this is more of like this is more a reflection of how the industry currently is, where if a game is not holding people's attention right out the gate, then it's slowly going to disappear.
Yep, I think it's going to be tough for High Guard to come back. They might be able to figure it out. Who knows? But as far as like people trying to make these games, I think the audience is mostly pretty calloused against these now. Where it's like we are dug in on the games that we recognize and play, and if we're not playing those anymore, it's not like because we're waiting for the next new one to come along. It's because we've mostly have moved on. Like we did that Fortnite stream.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's great, but it's not like it used to be where it's like, oh, someone's playing Fortnite, let's go watch them play Fortnite, and like, oh, isn't this like we're doing fun? It's like, no, we've seen this. It's playing the hits at this point where it's like the same kind of thing happens in that game. You know what's going to happen, and while it's still fun, it's not novel anymore. And I think that is certainly how High Guard feels. It doesn't feel novel in any real way, which is really important for a game. It's still to feel novel.
And also, the squad size of being like 3v3, I understand from maybe confusing. Like a balancing perspective on the dev side, but like ideally, at least in my opinion, I think you'd want to get as many of your friends in there as possible. So like, I don't know, even boosting the squads to 4 or 5. And you're right, Grubb, Fortnite isn't capturing as many people's attentions as like from a viewer's perspective. From like our perspective, as in terms of like making and producing stuff, we're mostly just hanging out and looking for the next or a fun game to hang out in, whether that's like something that is old, something that is new. And at that time when we streamed Fortnite, it's like, oh, cool, 5 of us can now hang out and actually be engaged with each other.
Yeah, and that's like all Fortnite has to do, right? Is give us a small little reason to check it out again. a new game coming out of nowhere has to do so much more, has to get so much right. And High Guard is pretty like, even if you find fun in it, I think there's clearly so many things like going against it. You're right, the 3v3 and the large maps. It's not an easy sell like when you first pick up the controller or the mouse and the keyboard. So I think they will refine it and make it better. These people have a lot of talent over there, but it's going to be an uphill battle for them, and not like they just unlocked, an infinite money well like Apex Legends did when it came out. Okay, let's get to the poll question from earlier this week. Let's see, I have the results over here, but I'm going to refresh and get the hottest results off the press. All right, are you going to play High Guard today? Yes or no? This is from Monday. We did play, so I'm going to say yes, along with 13% of respondents. 87% of people said no, they're not going to play High Guard. Yeah, I mean, it's free to play, and but it's not free to people's time, right? So It's just so easy. It's so easy to skip out on something until other people are having such a good time that you feel like you're missing out. And it doesn't seem like High Guard's going to get there.
Yeah. The other valuable currency, Grubb, is time.
Yep.
And I much would have rather spent my Monday afternoon playing Myst than High Guard. And that's just a very specific case, right?
Mm-hmm. And it is funny to see that people are like, I don't even know what High Guard is. It's like, despite all the controversy and the backlash from the Game Awards, some people didn't even notice that. So all the press in the world sometimes won't help you get attention. All right, we have a new poll question we'll get to here in a second, but we should talk about what's happening on Giant Bomb first. We will be doing some quick looks, like I will be doing one for Escape from Ever After. But today, live, you're not going to want to miss it, everybody. It's a new season of Blight Club. The Blightning round continues. Finally, Mike Minotti's going to play a game again, and he's going to look so cool, Jan.
He's going to look so freaking cool, Grubb.
I cannot wait. That's later today. And then later this week, I and Dan Reichert, he's in Minnesota. I'm going to head to Minnesota. I'm going to join him there. We're going to go over to Ben Hansen's studio, and we are going to do a live Ice Out stream where we're going to raise money for local charities that we are heavily vetting right now. Mm-hmm. And we're going to just do a stream throughout Friday evening where we're going to raise as much money as we possibly can. There's a lot of good ideas, but I'm going there in person. Want to be there, want to make this happen. It's important to us here. So fuck Ice and let's show out for him.
Yes, 100%. And Ben Hansen put together a wonderful video detailing the situation for folks local to the specific Minneapolis, Minnesota scene. I suggest you check that out. I also suggest you share it with friends, family, whoever that may not be in tune with what is currently going on in America, at least.
Yep. Let's do something, everybody. All right. Let's see. New poll question. I have it right over here. I think it was something like, have you ever played a Ren and Stimpy game? Yes or no? Let's find out what the demographics of our audience once and for all. We'll get the results of that. Talk about it here on Game Mess Mornings tomorrow on the show. Let's see. Speaking of Giant Bomb, one more time. Tune in for Blight Club later today. We'll have the rest of our regular stuff throughout the rest of the week. Oh, yeah. Tomorrow morning, we will be reacting to the Tomodachi Life Nintendo Direct. Jan, you stay asleep, but I'll have to figure out some stuff from you about how to stream that stuff.
Don't trip, chocolate chip. I got you.
All right. I think that's going to do it. Jan, thank you so much for hanging out. Oh, one more thing?
One more thing. Will Crosby has been helping us out with our social clips. Shouts out to Will. I just want to direct people to this painting that he's been doing of the first Myst Island, and it fucking Will continues to amaze and astound me.
That's incredible. Okay, I want to print Will.
What a cool dude.
I want that on my wall. Yeah, it's cool. It's really great to work with him and Sean on socials now, where it's like between the two of them, they handle so much of like the production and the logistics that we could just come up with the ideas, record something, and then it happens. And it's been a lot of fun. I want to do dumber stuff. I want to like the spirit of like Encyclopedia Bombastica. I kind of want to do stuff like that on social and see if we can take it over.
Yeah, it turns out having organized people on your team, and this isn't just Will and Sean, it's also Chuck, helps out a lot.
Helps out for a bunch of dumb bastards like us, for sure.
Turns out maybe that's what Bacalar needed besides us goofy dudes, is people that were organized.
Don't say anything. They'll realize. Jan, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
I'm sorry I'm not Rachel Kaiser, but thank you at home for being a friend.
We'll make Rachel happen here again soon, everybody. I'll see if she wants to do it tomorrow if she's available. She might not be. We'll see. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening. You are the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.